Welcome to Apex Racing TV, welcome to iRacing Live, and welcome to the Le Mans circuit here in France for the IMSA Sportscar Series, one of the toughest challenges on the sim, and we're going to be bringing it to you over the next hour or so. Qualifying is on at the moment, 2 laps for the drivers to set a qualifying time, and then we'll be getting down to the grid for 45 minutes of action. Well, as I'm back here this weekend, and on the cameras it is Samuli Kumo, and we can't wait to bring the action to you. Qualifying at the moment, we've got 3 classes of action. If you have never seen the IMSA Sportscar Series before, we've got the Daytona prototypes, then we've got the German GT3 class where we've got the BMWs, we have got the Audis, and we've got the Mercedes represented on the grid, and then we have a rough C-Spec class, which will be the third of the classes that we're running here today. And Le Mans, if you've never seen it before, it's a very challenging circuit, 13.63 kilometers, 38 corners, track conditions today, 32 degrees ambient temperature, 35 degrees track temperature, and we have got it all here really. We've got the opening section, the Dunlop curves, Tetra Rouge leading on to the insanely long Mulsanne straight, separated by a few quick chicanes, and then we've got Mulsanne corner before we head down another long straight towards Indianapolis, and then the slowest corner on the circuit, Arnage, and then we head on our way back towards the start finish line. We go through the Porsche curves, very quick section of the circuit, and then the Ford chicanes to end the lap. It's definitely a fantastic test of all the driver's skill here, and as it's a new track here on the iRacing service, it is proving pretty popular. We've got 3 splits of action here today, and on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live we are covering the top split as we do. Let's have a look at qualifying at the moment. Some familiar names here, but if you've been following our coverage of the IMSA Sportscar Series here on Apex Racing TV, Simone Marcheno is currently leading the way on pole position at the moment. Due to the long nature of the laps here, there is quite a gap back to Marco Arcidiacono, who's 1.5 seconds or so. James King is currently in 3rd, with Simon Trendell in 4th. Nicky Thiem, motorsport driver there you might have heard of, he's in 5th. David Weiss in 6th. Carlo Labate, another familiar name, he's in 7th. And then going into the German GT3s, Ricardo Castrolato, we've seen him the last few weeks. He's currently on provisional pole in that class. Fran Vinal in 2nd, Joaquin Bremer in 3rd, Kilmany Almeida in 4th, Manuel Galinier in 5th, Thomas Tattari in 6th, Calvin Allman in 7th, Christian Correa in 7th, and Newman is in 8th, and then Dimitri de Matos is in 9th. We haven't got too long before we go down to the grid either, just the last 30 seconds of qualifying, just enough time to run you through the top 5 at the moment in the rough C-Spec category. Leonardo Corsi is on pole position there, Troy Schuster is in 2nd, David Baraclau in 3rd, Yuri Shavat in 4th, Martin Rosseler in 5th, and then Frederic Esparadellini in 6th, and then James Owens, who was racing in the IMSA race last week at Daytona, in 7th, Damien Ray in 7th, Olivier Pertzel in 8th there, and the rest haven't set a time. We're heading down to the grid now. We'll run you through the full order, and as always in the IMSA series, it will be a rolling start in this race. Simone Marcheno then on pole position, Marco Arcidiacono 2nd. Expect those two to be battling throughout the race. They've been well represented in our coverage the last few weeks. James King starts in 3rd, Simon Trendell in 4th, Nicky Thiem will be in 5th, David Weiss 6th, Carlo Labate in 7th. Then we're on to the German GT3s. Ricardo Castrolato starting in 8th, Fran Vinal 9th, Joaquin Bremer in 10th, Kilmany Almeida in 11th, Emmanuel Galinier in 12th, Thomas Attari in 13th, Kevin Allman in 14th, Christian Correa in 15th, Newman is in 16th, Dimitri de Matos in 17th. Then in the rough C-Specs, we've got Leonardo Corti in 18th, Thomas Schuster 19th, David Baraclau in 20th, Yuri Shavat in 21st, Martin Rosler in 22nd, Frederic Spardellini in 23rd, 24th James Owens, Damien Ray in 25th, 26th Oliver Pertzel, and in the cars that didn't set a time, we've got Manuel Sanchez, we've got Cy Andra in a Daytona prototype, Robert Harris as well, another Daytona prototype, and Oliver Kemersat in 30th, another Daytona prototype. Then we've got a German GT3 and Marcel Mose. Then Julian Forte Jr. in 32nd. Luca Papa and Victor Dravegaard, both German GT3s. Then we've got Mark Massig, a rough C-Spec driver. And then at the back, we've got German GT3s in Brian Cartier. And at the back, in the rough C-Spec, we've got Nikolai Korotin. 37 cars here in this IMSA Sportscar Series top split race at the Circuit de Le Mans. And the pace car is picking the drivers up just before we get to the Porsche curves. So do not worry, we will not be having to run a full lap under the safety car, and we'll be getting this race started pretty sharpish. 45 minutes of the race, and the race organisers have limited the fuel, so there will be a mandatory pit stop during the race, and that should throw up a whole lot of strategy and a whole lot of excitement. We've seen in the last few races we've been covering here on Apex Racing TV, the races in all three classes for the lead going right down to the wire. Thanks for spending your Sunday afternoon here with us. Hope you enjoyed the Grand Prix, if you watched it wherever you are around the world, and congratulations to the world champion. I won't spoil it for you if you haven't watched it yet, but if you haven't watched it, you're in for a good race. Cars just negotiating their way through the curves now. If you're new to the IMSA Sportscar Series, the three classes like to spread each other out. You can see the Daytona prototypes have already pulled away just a little bit from the German GT3s, and then the roughs will be on their way shortly. Very quick section here. You can see they've installed a safer barrier on the exit, on the entry into the Porsche curves. Had some big crashes there over the years. And this is a unique spectacle because we do not see the Daytona prototypes racing around this circuit. Of course, we always see the LMP cars, the Audis, the Toyotas and the Porsches always racing around here every year in one of the greatest races in world motorsport. Too long to go now. Simone Marcheno on the pole. Marco Argidiacono will be trying to keep with him throughout the race. We'll see if James King and Simon Trendell will be able to keep with him as well. We've got 7 Daytona prototypes here. And then just entering the shot now, you can see the German GT3s. The pace car is pulling into the pit lane now. And you can hear the flyover. Into the forward chicane. And the green flag is out here at Le Mans. Marcheno gets a good jump from everyone else. Across the line to go. It's pretty hard to go double file through here. Here come the German GT3s. Carlo Castrolado got a problem away there, and he's lost the lead, and he's lost a whole load of positions. Don't know whether that was a slowdown. I don't even think it's possible to get a slowdown on the exit of the chicane on a warm-up lap, but that is a terrible start for Ricardo Castrolado in that Radicals Mercedes AMG GT3, and he's under pressure from everyone else behind. Here come the rough C-Specs. They've just started their race as well. Leonardo Corti leading the way through the first chicane, and now on our way through to the Dunlop curves. But drama already in your German GT3s, and Ricardo Castrolado now having got a whole lot of work to do. He is now in 18th position, and we will quickly work out what position that is in your class soon as we head out onto the Mulsanne straight. That is 7th in class. Here come the Daytona prototypes. Look at this, we've got 3 cars going at it for what is a 3rd place. Up the inside goes Simon Trendell. He's just got past James King. That is a change for position. King now upper place. Sorry, Simon Trendell upper place into 3rd place. James King down to 4th. And Robert Harris looks like he's trying to get a position as well as we head down the second part of the Mulsanne straight. He's trying to get alongside Cy Andra, who's already sustained a bit of damage to the front of his Daytona prototype in the early going. Reaching speeds of almost 300 kilometers per hour going into this second chicane. On the brakes they go, and Carlo Labasi looks like he's sustained a lot of damage to the rear of his car. He's just following these guys as well. German GT3's on their way to the chicane. Battle for the lead going on here. Joachim Bremer could be about to change the lead here with Fran Vinal. Vinal has the quickly going into the second chicanes, and Kilmany Almeida battling away with Emmanuel Galinier as well. Plenty of battles going on here in the German GT3s. You can see that the Mercedes are well represented here. This is a very high-speed circuit, and you'd be a fool to go in the BMWs. I know I'm always a big advocate of that car, but yeah, definitely wouldn't be picking it around this circuit. Round the outside goes Joachim Bremer. He's going to get the German GT3 lead back into Mulsanne corner, and we've had a change for the lead in the Daytona prototypes as well. Marcheno and Arcidiacono going at it into Indianapolis, and it's Arcidiacono that's got the lead. So out of Mulsanne corner, the Daytona prototype car of Arcidiacono has been able to get the lead back, and now Marcheno will be trying to hang with him and try and make sure that he can stay with him for the rest of this race and try and find the opportunity to get the lead back. Fortunately for him, the slipstream is so vital here. That will definitely be in his favour as we're going towards the Porsche curves. Look at this, he's going straight for the lead already. Up the inside into the Porsche curves. Don't hit each other, they have hit each other. And off goes Arcidiacono into the gravel on the entry into the Porsche curves. And wow, I didn't expect that to happen on lap 1 of the race. And now Marcheno has fallen down to 10th in class and 10th overall. Fortunately for him, he hasn't sustained too much damage. The contact was really on the side of the car, and now he's going to have to spend the rest of the race working his way back through the order. Poor Arcidiacono, he had just taken the lead away, and now he's down in 10th place. Well, we're coming around to complete then what has been a pretty dramatic first lap here at Circuit Le Mans, and across the line Marcheno goes. And I'm sure he'll be racing pretty sheepishly after that. But wow, what a first lap. German GT3s, they're still going at it. Joachim Bremer and Fran Vinal. Vinal's got a bit of damage to the front of his Mercedes as we go into the Ford chicane to complete the first lap of their class. Someone dropping down the order as well in that category. It's Emmanuel Galanier. He's now down into 10th place in class, 21st overall. A loss of 5 positions since the start of the race for him. So some bad starts and some big names here in this IMSA Sportscar race. Castroledo in the whole of the first lap has been able to get back up to 4th in class, but that's still 3 positions lower than where he started, of course, on the German GT3 pole. And let's have a look at the roughs as they complete their first lap. Leading the way across the line for them, it's Leonardo Corti. And he's being chased Troy Schuster. Not too much separating them across the line. Simon Trendell has had issues. Simon Trendell, who was 2nd in class, is not there anymore. And I wonder if it's been a slowdown for the Daytona prototype driver. Just looking at a replay of him going into Tetra Rouge. No, I think he might have picked one up. It's hard to tell, but yeah, he's dropped down to now last in class, 11th place. Change for the lead again in your German GT3s. It's all happening. Joachim Bremer has lost the lead, and I think he might have picked up a slowdown as well, possibly. So he is now down to 4th place. That puts Castroledo up another spot. Tell you what, at this rate, it'll only take 2 laps for Castroledo to get all those positions back that he lost before we even started the race. He's in the slipstream now with Kilmany Almeida down the second part of the Mulsanne Straight. And Fran Vinal leading the way in this class at the moment. Castroledo looking to the inside. Into the second chicane here on the Mulsanne Straight. On the brakes they go. Into the left-hander. All as you like there by Castroledo. And that is him now through into 2nd in class. So close, this German GT3 category. And it's going to be hard for them to get split apart, really, due to the nature of this circuit. We had Daytona last week where a slipstream was so important there, and it's even more important here at Le Mans. In the background there, that is that's position 6, that is Marcel Mose. Trying to get past Christian Correa into Mulsanne corner. And you can see an Audi's there, but we do have an Audi represented in this field today. Kelvin Alman definitely braving it out there. We've got another Audi in Dimitri de Matos. And have we got any other Audis in the field? That's it. So we've got 2 Audis in the field today. And Castronedo past Fran Vinal into Indianapolis, and that is him back to the German GT3 lead. So it took barely 10 minutes of racing here at Le Mans and barely 2 laps for him to get the lead back in the German GT3s. He'd fallen down as low as 6th or 7th place at the start, but Castronedo showing how dominant he is in this category by getting that back. Let's have a look at Marco Archidiacono. He is fighting his way back through the field. First on his list is Carlo Labarte. The Ford chicane isn't really the best place to try and get an overtake done. Through the Ford chicane we go. The first one pretty quick. And now you've got to really slow the car down to go through the section. Bunches up. Archidiacono getting a good run, but there's no way through there on the outside. And you can see the rear damage on Labarte's car. Archidiacono trying to look to outside. Labarte running the racing line here. Pretty dusty on the outside there going into the first chicane. Archidiacono might need to watch out. He's got Julian Forte Jr. who will try and pick up any mistakes that Archidiacono makes. So tell you what the lap times are running. Marciano fastest lap of the race at the end of the last lap. 3 minutes 44.715. Isn't too far off his pole position time, only a good 4/10 of a second. Barty goes very wide on the exit of Tetra Rouge. And now the slipstreaming can begin once again. Marciano, and it's a slowdown. I did think it would be. We've been seeing cars getting hindered by that the last few laps. And that is Labarte passed by Forte as well. And he is down into 10th place. So he'll be trying to work his way back. But that's a position already for Archidiacono up into 8th place. Next on his list is David Weiss. And you can almost see straight away he's already on his case. Looking to the outside. Car 5 is Archidiacono. Car 6 is David Weiss. The speeds they're getting here. 275s at 280 kilometers per hour. 285. Reaching 290. And on the brakes they go, and Archidiacono is the latest on the brakes there. And that is him up another position. They're now up into 7th place. The next car on his list is Oliver Kemasat. Oh, and in the wall is Archidiacono, just as I cut away. On the exit of the second chicane, just scrapes the wall. A few sparks getting kicked up there, and he has lost those positions that he fought so hard to get back. And he might even lose a place to Carlo Labarte, and he does. So Archidiacono has lost those positions that we were watching him getting back on this lap. And now he finds himself down in 10th place. Thomas Tattari and Joachim Bremer having a battle going into the second of the chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight. And Kilmany Almeida battling away with Marcel Mose and Christian Correa as well. Plenty of action here in your German GT3 class. With what looks like a slowdown for Kilmany Almeida. And that is hindering the Mercedes quite a bit. He's lost those positions. And Almeida now down to 7th in class, 18th overall. Archidiacono, let's have a look back at him. He is on his way back through the order. He's got past Labarte again. But he might need to be careful here, because here comes Labarte back in the slipstream. This is where he went off of us on the first lap. Contact was battling away for the lead with Marciano. Oh, and he's hit him again, and he's into the gravel again. Dear me, this is like my exploits in the World Series last night. Archidiacono down to 11th place now. It is not going his way today, and that contact will have definitely picked up some damage to the front, and you can see he's got left rear damage as well. So Archidiacono, he could have won the race at the pace he was going, but first of all the contact with with Marciano leading. And yeah, and now that's happened. Let's check in the rough C-specs. Leonardo Corti and Troy Schuster battling away for the lead here. Really, they're in a class of their own. David Barraclough is just entering Indianapolis as these two exit Arnage. So we've got battles going on here for the lead. And Simon Trendell's pitted at the end of this lap. See if Troy Schuster can use the slipstream to his advantage down the straight towards the Porsche curves. Not close enough, but now we're into very demanding section. Let's see how the roughs handle it through Porsche curves. Through this fast right and now into these S-bends. Not too much runoff on the exit there, apart from a wall, and you don't want to hit that. Now through this long right-hander, and then throw it back to the left. And now we're on our way towards the forward chicane. Running through the difference in lap times here. Marciano doing a 3:44. German GT3s, Castrioledo doing a 3:57. And the roughs doing a 4 minutes 8. We've lost James King. King, who was in second place. He has spun the car at the first chicane. Oh, looking back on the replay of it, he almost saved it. Turned in a whole load of opposite lock. Then the car finally gripped. And into the tyre barrier he goes. Just seeing if he's picked up too much damage. It's all going to be on that left side of the car, but he's going to be passed by Julian Forte. Tell you what, the Daytona prototypes are having their work cut out here today. Simone Marciano, the only one who hasn't really been in too much issues. He had the moments with Archidiacono at the start, but apart from that, he's on his own. 2.7 seconds ahead. By Andra is in third, fourth Robert Harris, and fifth is now Oliver Camusat. Battle here still in the German GT3s, which continue for the rest of the race. Marcel Mose, Joachim Bremer, these two going at it, and there's a Daytona prototype in there for good measure as well. That is Simon Trendell, who has made a pit stop. Don't know whether that's scheduled or not. Was in the pits for 24 seconds, 56-second time in the lane, and he splits those two German GT3s right through the middle. Joachim Bremer and Marcel Mose into the second chicane. Mose on the inside. Car 13 of Joachim Bremer will try and hold it out around the outside. Oh, close to contact, and there is contact, and into the wall goes Bremer, and into the wall goes Mose, and they collect Kilmany Almeida. Huge crash there, and here come the rest of the field. Oh no, and he hits one of the Audis, and that's Kevin Alman. Alman's able to continue, but that is not what we wanted there in the German GT3 category. It was shaping up to be such a good battle, and it is wiped out in an instant. Joachim Bremer and Marcel Mose coming together on the exit, and poor Kilmany Almeida. An innocent bystander in all of that. Tell you what, Christian Correa was very lucky to escape without getting a piece of the action as well. But that is major development there in the German GT3s. Dear me. Victor Dravegaard and Luca Papa close here, going into Indianapolis and on the way towards Arnage. Those two are still battling away after the contact we had at the second chicane. Kilmany Almeida not happy in the slightest. And this battle's going on here between Luca Papa and Victor Dravegaard. They've got Kelvin Elman, who got a hit in the side after the contact we had at the second chicane. Just got under half an hour to go here. Into the Porsche curves we go. Luca Papa closing up under braking on Victor Dravegaard. And this Audi trying to hold on of Kevin Elman. Got quite a few cars back in the pits. Archidiacono, let's check back on him. He's on his way back up the order. He's just about to get past David Weiss for the second time today. He's going to try and go around the outside into the first of the chicanes. On my track map it says it's the Forza Motorsport chicane. And a battle in front between James King, who was off earlier, and Julian Forte. Forte closing in on Carlo Labate, and across, and off is Archidiacono. He's done it again. Tell you what, this is shades of Gilles Villeneuve at Zandvoort at this rate. Archidiacono turning into the corner, losing it, and I don't know whether he was distracted by the car of James King that was off in the first chicane, but yeah, that happened again for Archidiacono. David Weiss under pressure from James King now. Oh, and contact in front. Labate and Julian Forte into the second chicane. Forte was trying to turn in, and Carlo Labate, I don't think really had much choice in that. Dear me, is this the top split of action we're watching today? Blimey. Don't think anyone wants to finish. Oh, Marco Diacono is back going again. Battling the German GT3s. Newman and Christian Correa. Tell you what, Newman, where did he start on the grid? He's already made up 5 positions, mostly due to the fact that everyone else has crashed off in front of him. Well, this has definitely split up the German GT3s, which is a shame because we had so many cars represented in that class today. But yeah, Kevin Elman and Victor Dravegaard also continuing their battle. Dravegaard's been able to get past Kevin Elman on this lap. Mercedes getting by. And Christian Correa and Newman now going at it into the second chicane. Could be a good run here. The Mercedes has got a good run. And now we're on our way towards Milestone Corner. We've lost the Matos. We'll check back in that in a minute, but let's just see if Newman's able to get it done over the top of the hill towards Moorsound Corner. This is where Anthony Davidson had his huge incident in a Toyota a few years ago. Had to sit out the main of the season, and into Moorsound we go. They've been able to get back on their way again. Dimitri De Matos was one of the Audis that was running. Don't know what happened to cause him to lose a position, so he lost the car going into the second chicane. And let's check what's going on in the rough C specs. Leonardo Corti leading the way. Troy Schuster pretty close to him. Tell you what, this is one battle that hasn't ended in disaster. Nikolai Karotin also, he's battling away with this great battle with James Owens. Owens, who I think won the the rough C spec race at Daytona last week. And now these lot going at it on the exit of the second chicane. James Owens leading Massig, another regular we see here in the IMSA Sportscar Series. Over the top of the hill, Mark Massig should have the position going into the second chicane. On the brakes we go. And as him through, he goes wide on the exit, but is able to catch the car. And that is Mark Massig now through into 5th place in class. Nikolai Karotin is the next one ahead. And then James Owens really, and then Baraclow on his own in 3rd place. And Troy Schuster and Leonardo Corti. Last time around, Corti did a 4:08.8. Troy Schuster 4:08.5. And this is a battle that could go all the way to the first round pit stops, and we'll see if they can remain as close as this afterwards. Olivier Pertzl and Frederic Sbarbadellini. They were also having a battle going into Indianapolis, and I think that was Bardellini through past Pertzl. But yeah, some close action going on in Euro of C-Spec category. And into the... Oh, I thought... Of course, he was ducking into the pit lane there. We've got Dimitri De Matos in and Luca Papa in at the end of this lap. So two German GT3s. And we'll take this time to run you through what's the orders and what's happened so far in this race. So Manu Marcheno leading Nicky Team by 6.1 seconds. By Andra is now up into second, so there's a change for second place in the Daytona prototypes, and there you can see it. That is Andra through into the Indianapolis complex here, and that is second place overall for Sai. Carlo Labate and Robert Harris also battling here going into Indianapolis. On the inside there goes Labate, that is through, and Julian Forte and James King also battling going into the Indianapolis section. Oh, no, contacts! And who was that around? Was that Harris? It was! Did he lose it on his own? Yes, he did. Did anyone collect him? Oh, there was a bit of contact just as they bunched up. That was James King and David Weiss. But more contacts here in what has been a pretty crazy race here at Le Mans. Julian Forte trying to get past David Weiss now. And I think he has got that done, yeah, going into the Porsche curves. Emmanuel Galanier and Newman so dropping down the order. Please don't say they've been involved in contact as well. Oh, it looks like they have. Oh dear. Going through the second chicane, Newman, and there was contact with Galanier, who's running one of the Lizard liveried cars from the you see in the IMSA race. Flying Lizard, there you go, and both of them around. I mean, there's going to be a few protests here. Pit stops are underway. Or maybe it's just the cars with contact or damage. But anyway, into the pits comes Carlo Labate. We've got Julian Forte, James King and Robert Harris. All involved, most of them involved in the contact we saw down at Indianapolis. Don't know whether this is as a result of meatball flags, but the cars don't look damaged enough for that. But yeah, 4 Daytona prototypes in on this lap. Change for the lead in the rough C-specs. We've got a battle going on. Corsi and Schuster into Mulsanne. And it is Schuster that has come out on top. Must have got it done at the inside into Mulsanne. Yes, it was. It was finally the slipstream worked out for Schuster, and he has got that lead. Will Leonardo Corsi try and respond straight away? In the slipstream, they both are. And towards Indianapolis. While on the brakes, so hard to slow the car down here. It's almost the same as trying to slow the car down at Daytona, where we were last week at the end of the long straight. Now into Arnage, slowest part of the circuit here. See the cars sliding their way through. We've got our German GT3 leader in, Riccardo Castronedo. Lost the lead at the start. Possibly down to a slowdown penalty. But here is the Mercedes car. Fran Vinal is in. Thomas Tattari, Christian Correa is in as well. So the top 4 are all in. I'll tell you what, those are the top 4 that really have survived everything. Castronedo should be able to fill up the car and get going and be on his way. And we've pretty much got the whole German GT3 class in. Of course, fuel is such a premium here in Le Mans, it's such a long lap. You're really stuck with the strategy really in the German GT3s. Of course, the organisers limit the fuel. Are the roughs going to pit this lap? No, they're not. So Troy Schuster and Leonardo Corsi will carry on their way for another lap. Got just under 20 minutes to go. Rough starting lap 7 of the race. And tell you what, they'll be coming up just in front of all these German GT3s. Brian Cartier is just coming out of the pits as here come the roughs. On the way they go. David Weiss seems to be in issues. Don't know whether he might have spun the car, but no, he's not in any issues. He's on his way, he's fine. Andrew and Nicky Team are going at it again. Going into the Porsche curves. Oh, this is close here. Close to the wall, and they've got rough traffic coming up as well. This might not end too well here. It hasn't worked out at all well for any of the drivers really in this race. Going to negotiate the rough pretty well. And that rough was Martin Rosler. Are they going to pit this time, these Daytona prototypes? Oh, I think they want to, but that rough was in the way. And into the pits comes Nicky Team and Syandra. Marcheno is in as well. So the top 3 in class in the Daytona prototypes are in. There's the pit lane line. Slow the car down to 60 kilometers per hour. And who's going to come out on top? Marcheno, a long way up the road. He will most surely resume the race in the lead. David Weiss should be in. Yes, he is in as well. So we've got all of the Daytona prototypes in now. Marcheno goes right to the end of the pit lane. That is where his pit box is. Nicky Team in the purple liveried Daytona prototype. As a longer pit stall there. And away goes Marcheno, 12.2 seconds. Nicky Team away in 10.4. Quick stop from him. 13.3 for Syandra. So that is Nicky Team now up into second place. Third will be Syandra and losing quite a bit of time as well. Newman leaving the pit lane, and Oliver Kemasat has left as well. Oh, Newman slowing down to a stop. And he's out. Don't know what was going on there, but I might have encountered some issues in the pit stop. I don't know what was going on there, but looks like the end of the race for Newman. He'll be towing back to the pits. Carlo Labasi out on his way. And that is all the stops. He's in the pits as well. For the second time. 2.3 second stop as well, so don't know whether he had a problem with fuel, but that is him in for the second time. Rough battle still going on. Troy Schuster and Corti. Corti up the inside into Indianapolis. Oh, sliding the car off into the gravel. That might pick up a little bit of an incident point there. Of course, there is an incident limit of 17 here in the IMSA Sportscar Series. And of course, we're yet to see the roughs come in. Oh, we're yet to see Corti and Schuster in anyway. Mark Masick and Nikolai Karotin haven't come into the pits either. And we're just waiting on these guys to complete their pit stops. Once those are all done, we will be able to run you through the order. Schuster back in second place now, going into the Porsche curves. Car 2 is Corti. Oh, this is close. I was in a rough race the other night at Brands Hatch. And the racing is so close there, and these roughs are pretty fun to drive. Through the left-hander. Is this the lap that we see them come into the pits? On their way towards the forward chicane. Are they going to duck to the right? Yes, they do. All going to be about the pit stops then in this rough C-Spec category. You can see that the German GT3s, some of them are even behind them. There's the pit lane line. And into the pits they go. .60 kilometers per hour. Roy Schuster and Leonardo Corti taking their battle to the pit lane. The fuel will go in. No need to change tyres here. Pit stop times in the roughs we've seen about 13 seconds or so. Away goes Corsi, 13.0, 15.4 for Troy Schuster, so must have put in a little bit extra fuel, which we have seen being an issue in the rough C-Specs the last few weeks. At Indianapolis and at Daytona, we've seen cars run out of fuel on the way to the line, including, I think, our rough C-Spec leader last week. Schuster will have to try and close the gap down. Hopefully he's within the slipstream. We've got Mark Masick, we've got Nikolai Karotin, and we've got David Barraclough in as well. Those are the last of the cars in the whole field to pit. David Barraclough on his way. He should remain third in class. Mark Masick away, and Nikolai Karotin away as well. 13 seconds for Masick, 16 for Karotin, and 16 seconds for Barraclough. Here comes Martin Rosler. He might be able to jump these guys. Manuel Sanchez and Yuri Sharavatov. And Karotin is just behind Martin Rosler. So is Mark Masick as well. So he changes position there. And who was that going by? That is Simone Marcheno. He's finally reached these guys and he's lapping them. Tell you what, Nicky Team's the man on the mission. He's got the gap down to 1.4 seconds. The gap when Marcheno pitted was about 6 or 5 seconds. So Nicky Team has definitely been putting the laps in. It's 4 seconds quicker on the last lap, so a very good outlap by Nicky Team. On it straight away, but Marcheno might have to worry for the last 13 minutes or so of this race. Running through the order then, since the pit stops have been completed. Simone Marcheno leads Nicky Team by 1.5 seconds. Syandra is in third, bit of a way back down the road now. Oliver Kemasat is in fourth. Fifth is Marco Archidiacono, so he's back up there. Julian Forte is in sixth. David Weiss in seventh. Robert Harris in 8th, and he's lost the car going in, and that is the end. He is disqualified, and that is it for Robert Harris. Simon Trendell is now in 8th then, 9th James King, and 10th will be Carlo Labate. Castrolado that leads the way in the German GT3s. Fran Vinal a long way back, a good 10 seconds or so. Thomas Tattari is in 3rd with Christian Courier in 4th. And that is a battle that is pretty close and will be going to the end. Dimitri Dematos there, and then Luca Papa, they're pretty close. And Leonardo Corsi then leading the way in the rough sea specs. Troy Schuster in 2nd, David Barraclough in 3rd, Yuri Sharavat in 4th, and then Manuel Sanchez in 5th, who's just getting lapped by our leader Marcheno, just negotiating them there. Dear me, he's having to go onto the hard shoulder there. I think your team's getting pretty close to him here. That's under a second. 6/10 of a second make that as we go through Mulsanne corner. And this race is definitely on. Fastest lap of the race does go to Marco Archidiacono, 3:44.569. Oh, sideways in the background in the roughs, that was Mark Massig. He's going to have to concede the place to Martin Rosler. Those two will carry on their way. Side by side they'll go. This is a battle for position. And we've lost Luca Papa. Oh, he's just lost a position, I should say. This is the and he's spun the car at the Ford chicane. Turning in. Is going too quick for themselves. And Luca Papa facing the wrong way. He is now down in 7th place overall. And just behind him he has got Victor Dravegaard, who's got a ton of damage to the front of his Mercedes. The bonnet of the car is missing. Romano Marcheno on this last lap has been able to pull the gap just a little bit on Nicky Team. Gap is now 1.7 seconds. A good second half of the lap for those for Marcheno. Troy Schuster and let's check in on those guys. The battle that's going on in the overall C-Spec lead. See if it's closed in at all. Leonardo Corsi just comes across the line to complete his first lap out the pits. Troy Schuster is there. And let's see what the gap is between those two. 1.2 seconds back. And that should be enough to pick up a slipstream. But Troy Schuster will be trying everything he can to make sure that he's with Leonardo Corsi in the last 10 minutes of the race. Not too many laps left in that rough C-Spec category, of course. It is a 4-minute plus lap. 4 minutes 60, 4 minutes 8 for those guys to do a lap. And with 10 minutes to go in the race, there's not going to be too many laps left for that category. 2.3 seconds was the gap at the line between Marcheno and team. It was 3.4 now. Sayandra is getting close. He'll be able to benefit from any mistakes made there. Pit stop. This pit stop window has definitely separated things out, of course. Fran Vinal and Ricardo Castrolado might have just had a few issues. I don't know. No, they were showing us off on my timing screen, but they're all a-okay. Thomas Atari and Christian Courier then. This is probably the closest battle we've got on circuit at the moment. Two Mercedes going at it down straight towards Indianapolis. Clear day here in France. Looking to the outside goes Christian Courier. Round the outside of Thomas Tattari. Let's see if this can work. Through Indianapolis. Tattari later on the brakes, plus he's got the inside line. Courier doesn't want to be risking too much. He has been in the wars today, of course, and might be close to that incident limit. We've seen cars getting disqualified today. Robert Harris was one of them in the Daytona prototypes. Going into Arnage, slowest part of the circuit. Back on their way, and they're on their way now towards the Porsche curves. What a race we've seen at Le Mans today. Plenty of incidents. Wonder if any protest forms will be filled out as Christian has a little look to the inside going into the Porsche curves. These German GT3s are very fun to drive, and at a circuit as prestigious as Le Mans, you can see why it's such a popular category. We've got 10 represented at the moment. make that 14, of course, with the cars in the pit lane. We've got Robert Harris, who was disqualified. We've got Newman and Cartier. He's on the track, as long as Almeida and Marcel Mose also out of the race. After Le Mans, there's only 1 week left in the series, and they go to another prestigious track in Spa-Francorchamps. That'll be another one that's be brilliant to watch. We should be bringing the action of that next week, and it's at night as well, just to make things that little more chaotic. And we've been seeing a lot of chaos here in the daytime. Some of the big movers during this race. Sayandra up 5 positions. Oliver Kemsat in the Daytona prototypes, he's up 6. Julian Forte is up 5 positions. And of course some big movers in the Daytona, in the German GT3s as a result of the contact we've seen there during the race. Christian Correa and Dimitri Damatos up 5 and 6 positions respectively. Corsi and Schuster 1.1 seconds, so the gap's going down ever so slightly. We'll see what the lap times are like as they come round to start their 10th lap of the race. Corsi just negotiating the forward chicane now. Thoughts have had a shake there on the exit. You can tell he's on it. Across the line, 4 minutes 9.1 for him, 4 minutes 8.7. So Choi Schuster has definitely closed the gap on this last lap. The gap is now under a second, it's 7/10 as they go through that flat out first corner and into the first chicane. And is there enough time? We've got 6 minutes here at Le Mans. And Simone Marcheno is just about to lap these guys. Schuster doesn't want to lose too much time. He'd prefer it if Marcheno could get it by him on the Mulsanne straight, but Marcheno gets the best run out of Tetra Rouge. Oh, and I think that might be a slowdown for Troy Schuster. He did put all 4 wheels over the exit there of Tetra Rouge. We've been seeing that some cars have been hit by that, and he might have been able to serve it then. The Simone Marcheno there, you can see lapping him. Simon Trundle and Carlo Labate having a battle. Well, it was a change for position. Simon Trundle is back in the pits, so I don't know what's happened to him. Simon Trundle in for the second time. That was the second pit stop, and it was a second pit stop for Carlo Labate as well. Have they misjudged it on the fuel? 2.3 second stop for Labate, 4.6 second stop for Simon Trundle. Could we be in for another fuel mileage race here? We saw it at Le Mans, we saw it at Daytona, we saw it at Indianapolis. Could we be seeing it again here at Le Mans? Very something to watch of interest. Marcheno will probably be able to get back to the line and start the final lap of the race. Tell you what, the battle for second is on in the Daytona prototypes whilst they're negotiating the Rough C-Spec leaders. Nicky Team, who looked like for a brief moment he could challenge Marcheno for the lead, has had to drop back and is now under pressure from Andra. Andra was 3 seconds quicker than Nicky Team last time around. In the slipstream he is, maybe Nicky Team might be trying to save fuel. He was a good 3 seconds quicker in the pit stop. Hard on the brakes into the Mulsanne corner at the end of the straight. Now we're on our way back. Other drivers have made 2 pit stops during the race. It's only been those 2. It's only been Labate and Trundle. But here comes Sayandra to the inside. Nicky Team might try and hold it out round the outside. Pretty hard to get that move done. And Andra moves across. And he is now up into second place. That is a gain of 6 spots. Will he be able to stop it for Indianapolis? He can. Nicky Team might try and respond. So far, overtakes into the Porsche curves haven't worked out best so far today. And you can see in the background, Leonardo Corsi and Troy Schuster, they're right with each other again. We're about to start the final lap of the race here at Le Mans. Corsi might just have enough in it to hold on for another lap, but plenty of battles here in the closing stages. see if Andrew's been able to pull away, but Corti and Schuster, oh, they've got Arcidiacono back on the mission here, trying to get positions. He split the two of them. Oh, nearly losing the car. And poor Troy Schuster's got a rough in the way, has got a Daytona prototype in the way. Corti having to take all sorts of avoiding action there. This will allow Schuster to close back up. Got a good run on the exit here as we go towards the Ford chicane. Going to start the final lap here at Le Mans. Is Schuster going to look up the inside into the Ford chicane? No, he doesn't. He's got plenty of time to try and get a move done, of course. He's got a whole 13.63 kilometres here to try and get that lead in the rough sea specs. Great to see a battle in this category. With one lap to go, the race for the lead is on in that category. Samuli Kumo starts the final lap of the race, 6-second lead over Sai Andra. James King and David Weiss now doing battle. David Weiss is into the pits for the second time. Another car that might have misjudged it on fuel. Or maybe these drivers know something that the guys at the front don't. Surely Samuli Kumo knows about fuel and knows that he needs to make sure that he doesn't run out. Carlo Labate. We've lost Carlo Labate. Most likely a disqualification. I don't know, but it looks like he's been disconnected. He looks like he's had a disconnect. Yeah, it looks like it. Didn't lose any incidents there. But yeah, that's the second car that we've lost in the last few laps. Carlo Labate was running in 7th. Corti and Schuster then on the exit of the first chicane. Final lap of the race. Keep an eye out if any cars start running out of fuel. Schuster just not close enough in the slipstream. Leonardo Corti's had a pretty good final lap so far. He's pulled out just a few tenths of a second, and Troy Schuster's using that just to close up. An update in the German GT3's Castronedo continues to lead there over Fran Vinal, but this is definitely an intriguing battle here in the rough sea specs. Oh, battle here in the roughs. Into the first chicane. This is Manuel Sanchez and David Baraclau. I think that is Sanchez just trying to hold on. This is over 3rd and 4th, so a final spot on the podium is up for grabs here. Baraclau trying to get the position back. He had been ahead of Sanchez before the pit stops. Baraclau breezes by. Is Sanchez going to be able to fight back up the inside into the second chicane? No, he doesn't. And that battle might be going to the end as well. Meanwhile, Simone Marcheno, he's on his way into the Porsche curves. The clock is at 0. Been a perfect day for him. He had to worry about Arcidiacono for just a brief moment at the start. Arcidiacono had the lead going into the Porsche curves, but there was contact between the two, and after that he didn't need to look back. He's just got to get past Luca Papa, and then he just needs to get through the Ford chicane, and he'll be able to take the win. Dimitri Massos has taken a second visit to the pits as well. Maybe another car that cut it short on the fuel. But through the Ford chicane, and the checkered flag is out, and it's a race win for Simone Marcheno. He takes the win in the IMSA Sportscar Series here at the Circuit de Mons. Diandra comes through in second, Nicky Team takes third, and Oliver Camasat comes through in fourth. Marco Arcidiacono comes through in fifth. Julian Forte will come through in sixth, and James King in seventh. Corsi is about to come through as well and take the rough C-Spec victory unless something major happens. Roy Schuster just not close enough to get it done. Corsi through the first part of the Ford chicane, now through the second, and he will take the win in the rough C-Spec category as Troy Schuster puts four wheels in the gravel on the of the final chicane. He'll come through and take second. Barraclough versus Sanchez. That battle's continuing into the Porsche curves, and Sanchez runs wide. Barraclough should be able to hold on now for the Rough C-Spec win. But that battle was going all the way to the end, and it looks like the Barraclough will take... He's out of fuel! I thought the car was coughing. It looks like it's... Oh, and oh, look at Sanchez, he's all over the place. And is he going to save the car? No! Around he goes. And David Barraclough, even if he is out of fuel, will be able to surely come home and take third place. Across the line he goes. David Barraclough takes third. Now we've just got to wait for our German GT3s to come across the line. Castroledo's on his way to Arnage. Fran Vinal in second. This battle for third, though. We've got another battle that's going towards the end in the podium. All the way to the end. We've got Thomas Tattari and Christian Correa. Down the second part of the straight we go towards Indianapolis. Oh, this is so close. 274 kilometers per hour we're reaching here. Almost 280. And Tattari holds on into Indianapolis. Don't rule out Brian Cartier of taking a surprise third spot if these two come together. Into Arnage for the final time. Oh, and Tattari doesn't get the best run on the exit. The Porsche curves could be a deciding factor here. Aria looking this way, and that he's looking to the inside, he's looking to the hard shoulder. Oh, this is so close, we might have to cut away and show our German GT3 winner in a moment. Tattari just holding on. And now through the Porsche curves. Meanwhile, Riccardo Castronedo is coming through the Ford chicane for the final time, and he will take the win in the German GT3s. Second place will go to Fran Vinal. And now it's all down to the Ford chicane and the battle for third. Tattari's pulled out just a little bit of a gap here. And he surely will take the final spot on the podium, bar any major misfortune. Fran Vinal's just about to come across the line and take second place. He does that now. And it's going to be third place in the German GT3s for Thomas Tattari. Cross the line he goes. And Christian Correa will come in fourth with Brian Cartier in fifth. Such a long lap here at Le Mans. We've still got Joachim Bremer. We've got Victor Dravegaard, and we've got Dimitri Tomatos to come across the line. And Victor Jan and those guys just about to come across the line now. Dravegaard just heading through the Ford chicane. And Tomatos is just heading through the final parts of the Porsche curves. Tell you what, Dravegaard has been able to get that position on the last lap. Tomatos was ahead. Towards the final chicane he goes. Matos through the chicane. Credit to him for being in an Audi. Only two cars running in the Audis today. And that was Alman. And across the line he goes. And Matos finishes in 7th place. Now we'll run you through the finishing order then. Simone Marchedo takes the win. 4.8 seconds ahead of Sai Andra. Nicky Thiem finishes in 3rd. 7.4 seconds behind at the end. Oliver Kemersad finishing in 4th. Marco Arcidiacono started 2nd, led briefly, finished in 5th, had to come back through the field so many times during the race. Julian Forte finishing in 6th, 7th for James King, 8th Simon Trendell, 9th for David Weiss. And then Riccardo Castroledo taking the win in the German GT3s. Fran Vinal finishing in 2nd, Thomas Tattari in 3rd, Christian Correa in 4th, 5th for Joachim Brenner, and Victor Dravegaard in 6th. 7th for Dimitri Tomatos, and then 8th Luca Papa, 9th Emmanuel Galanier, and 10th Kevin Alman. And amongst those guys we've got Carlo Labasi, who had a disconnect with a lap or so to go, so he finished as in between those guys in 17th overall, 10th place in class. Then Leonardo Corsi takes the win in the German GT3s, in the Rough C-Specs, just ahead of Troy Schuster. David Barraclough finishing in 3rd, Manuel Sanchez in 4th, Mark Masick in 5th, Nikolai Kurotin in 6th, Damien Ray in 7th, James Owens in 8th after winning at Daytona last week, Yuri Sharavat in 9th, and Frederic Spardellini in 10th. 11th for Martin Rosler, Oliver Pertzel in 12th. And then after that we've got Brian Cartier, who finished in 33rd in the German GT3s. Robert Harris, who was disqualified. Newman, I think he might have been disqualified as well. And Kilmany Almeida and Marcel Mose, all involved in that big contact that we saw at the second chicane. In what was a pretty, we can pretty much say that it would have been a pretty chaotic race. Well, there is still action to come here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live later tonight. The Club Series heads to the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, Imola, in Italy for 2 more races. I will be with Paul Smith and Samuli Kumo, who's done a fine job on the cameras today for that race. The action will be getting underway at 8:30 p.m. GMT. Make sure you join us for that one. The championship's pretty close there, and everyone loves racing around Imola. It'll be the first time we're racing there as well. We'll also say is thanks for watching here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live. Congratulations to our class winners, Marcheno, Castroledo and Leonardo Corti. Thanks for watching, and the next race of the IMSA Sportscar Series will be next week at Spa-Francorchamps at night. It'll be definitely not one to miss. I'm Adam Bath, and Samuli Kumo has been on the cameras, and it is a good evening from the Circuit de Le Mans.